You'll excuse us for the jocularity coming on the air, but inside the Air Canada Center, Matty, I don't know if Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey are in town, but the good folks here in Toronto just paraded, looked like one of the lead showpieces in the circus, an elephant onto the floor to throw up the official first ball.
A relatively small elephant, but I'll be honest with you, Michael, I thought we may have been in store for a possible 10 or 15-minute delay. What were you thinking?
Yeah, exactly the same thing. Exactly. We all got a stay of delay. Randy Whitman ready to get things rolling with his Cavaliers. Cavaliers with a 19-point win over the Detroit Pistons, and Randy was very pleased and has been pleased with the effort of his ball club the last couple of games. We'll talk about that. Butch Carter, as all young NBA coaches have to do, had to step aside while a 3-hour team meeting took place last Monday after 8 losses in 9 games a week ago today. And as Matty alluded to, we'll talk about this during the course of the telecast tonight. Some things had to get settled with the Toronto Raptors. Now, they have won 2 in a row, but it's been against Atlanta and Chicago. So we'll see as Vince Carter and his guys get set to go against the Cavaliers here in downtown Toronto.
Well, the important thing for this Toronto franchise is they are closing in their first ever playoff appearance. A win tonight for them and a Milwaukee loss would seal the deal, but they're still in that position where they are trying to get their game ready for the playoffs.
Right now they sit in the number 6 spot, and we'll show you how the Eastern Conference playoff race shakes out right now and what the matchups would be if we started it tonight. But for now, you get set to enjoy. We're going to take you to the hoop all night long on Fox Sports Net. James Capers, Hugh Hollins, Tommy Washington. And Lamont Murray got off early against Vince Carter at the gun. This is Wes Person to trigger and knock it down.
Wesley Person's eyes lit up as he got picked up by the diminutive Muggsy Bogues. Just tall enough to kind of measure his shot.
Vince Carter at Gund Arena settled for a lot of outside jumpers against the Cavaliers 13 nights ago. Oakley will make the extra pass. This is Tracy McGrady. Antonio Davis trying to keep it alive into the hands of Wes Person as the Cavaliers will head to the front court. Muggsy Bogues with Doug Christie. And missed the last 2 games. He's dressed though tonight. Sean Kemp with a decisive move to the hole. It would not stay down for him, and we are going to go Toronto's way. But Sean, again, Matt, showing us that quick move without hesitation.
Well, one of those rare times where Sean Kemp, nobody even kind of hedged towards him to try to help out, and got a little baseline action there. And if Sean doesn't get double covered or somebody helping on the dribble, he should be able to either score or get fouled.
So McGrady in isolation, but Andre Miller came to help with Wes Person as Muggsy Bogues will lace that long 3. 36% for Muggsy Bogues from home run range, and he just stripped Wes Person. Turnover Cavaliers. Muggsy bouncing to the front court.
Well, when the Toronto Raptors were in their good groove, winning 11 out of 12, a big part of that was Muggsy Bogues coming off the bench, but knocking down a lot of perimeter jump shots.
That's Charles Oakley from deep. Well, Oakley filling up his first jumper of the night. Oak hit that 3 in the gun to beat the Cavaliers. Sean Kemp inside, put it up on the square, and then got his own putback to fall. As Lamont Murray gave Sean an opportunity down in the paint.
Well, one of the things Toronto gets with Muggsy Bogues in the starting lineup, rather than Doug Christie, who's out with injury, they get into their offense a lot quicker, a little better ball movement as he spreads the ball around. Of course, he looks like he's looking for a shot so far in this one and finding the bottom on a couple of them.
He does indeed bottom out that jumper. He stepped through as Andre Miller was flying by. So Muggsy Bogues with a quick 5. Wes Person to hoist and knock it down.
That's the second time now that Muggsy has switched out on Wesley Person, and Wesley likes that. Nobody to get up and challenge his shot. But you can see Toronto, and I've seen quite a bit of them lately, Michael, their defense was very poor during that losing stretch. They are playing much better defense in terms of being more aggressive.
Antonio Davis just worked the reverse. Antonio in his 7th year out of UTEP. He and Charles Oakley, the veteran backbone of this Toronto starting lineup. Miller will give it up to Sean Kemp. He's going to duck inside, go to the hole, and send it down strong.
Boy, another time. That's two straight times. Not two straight, but two times early in this game where the defense did break down as Sean Kemp catching the ball out of the wing. I think he's looking for people to come at him or clog the lane, and nobody's really doing it yet for Toronto.
That deep jumper from Tracy McGrady would not fall. Andre Miller on the bounce out. And Vince Carter had a piece of it as Lamont Murray had last touch, so we'll go with Toronto.
And you see right away they get the ball in quickly. Muggsy Bogues, actually, Butch Carter wanting a timeout. Looked like he was signaling for a timeout, and Muggsy Bogues not even looking over to his coach, just trying to get the tempo going, get his team more alive. And they are a team that will just stand around quite a bit, play straight up, but tough to do with a guy like Muggsy out there.
Charles Oakley trying to deliver as Sean Kemp closed out at him, and referee Tommy Washington says Sean got a piece of the Oakman's elbow on that follow-through.
Yeah, that's a terrible foul on the part of Sean Kemp. He knows that. He knows he doesn't want to foul a jump shooter, and that's why a lot of times when Sean says the new rules and all the physical plays, that's where he commits a lot of his fouls, out in the open where he'll just slap at a guy's arm, or in that case tick his elbow right in front of the official, and they're really bad fouls.
Only 7 points for Charles Oakley in the 25 minutes, but 3 of them came at the buzzer as he rattled down that 3-point hit from right in front of the Raptors bench to win it.
But he was also a big part of terrific defense by Toronto in the closing 2 minutes of that game. I remember he himself stripped the ball 3 times, preventing scoring opportunities from the Cavaliers. So not only offensively with the game-winning 3, but an outstanding job on the D.
Toronto by 2 at 10-8. Tracy McGrady is checking Lamont Murray. Sean Kemp now against Oakley. That's going to be Charles Oakley on a reach-in as Sean wanted to take it strong through the paint. Now the first on the 15-year veteran out of John Hay High School on Cleveland's east side.
Well, Charles Oakley is a good help defender, but really has problems against a quicker, active player like a Sean Kemp. Just does not have the foot speed or mobility. There that time Oakley tried to strip, but Sean Kemp too strong with the ball, kept it out of that grasp.
Sean wanted contact from Oak, got a little chest bump, and then hit the fadeaway jumper. Sean off with a quick 6 for the Cavaliers, who have tied it at 10 apiece. Carter will raise up, settling again for that deep jumper. Did that a lot at the gun on March the 28th. Andre Miller just turned the corner with a burst and a finish at the rim.
Yeah, that's the sign of the bad defense of Toronto that they've been playing a lot of until they got things turned around against Atlanta and Chicago. And as you mentioned, Michael, a big part of that is Atlanta, Chicago, not very good teams.
Mark Bryant stepping out. Tracy McGrady with a shot clock at 8 had to give it up. Oakley will hoist again. Antonio Davis doing a man-sized job on the offensive glass.
He's active in there. You must keep a body on him until the rebound is secured. He'll keep working there, but you can see the Toronto Raptors settling into a perimeter-oriented game, and generally that gets them in trouble. See if the Cavaliers can take advantage of it.
Lamont Murray missed badly on that 3-point attempt. Lamont's first shot of the night. Muggsy Bogues with a burst. Tracy McGrady will knock down the baseline jumper.
Now you don't mind, if you're Toronto, you don't mind that perimeter shot because Muggsy Bogues penetrated all the way to the basket before the kick out.
Cavaliers come back and Lamont Murray will stroke his jumper. Well, Lamont's first deuce of the night. Lamont has shot it at 50% exactly the last 2 games. He had 20 against Indiana and 21 against Detroit. Oakley from the baseline to Phillips.
That's a good play for Charles Oakley. Little pick and pop instead of constantly standing at the top of the key to reverse the ball. It really slows things down for Toronto. They got to get them involved a little bit with the offense.
Andre Miller now wants to use a Mark Bryant screen. Bryant's going to come up lifting and lacing that short jumper.
Same thing as far as the Cavaliers concerned, to try to get their big men involved with either pick and rolls or pick and pop plays to make sure that they are threats at the offensive end. Andre Miller doing a nice job of finding Mark Bryant.
Well, both clubs settling into a groove at each offensive end as Butch Carter will get a timeout. It's Andre Miller with that blow-by of his. Andre using his strength to get to the hoop. We're tied at 16. Come on back with us on Fox Sports Net. 60 apiece in the Air Canada Center. All of us at Fox Sports Net would like to extend a very special hello to our viewers watching us tonight on Time Warner in Columbus and Armstrong Utilities in Boardman. Good to have all of you along the Fox Sports Net family. Maybe a week ago, Butch Carter knows his veterans are not happy, Davis and Oakley, about not being involved in the offense. And when you're a head coach, as Vince Carter comes up firing and knocking down the jumper, how do you approach that? Because, you know, Carter and McGrady are such focal points of the offense. If you're Butch Carter, do you have to let him just work it out amongst themselves?
Oh, no, he's got to take control of the situation, because despite the fact that he's got veterans like Oakley, Willis, Antonio Davis, they are leaders in the such that they've been around for a while. They know how to work in practice. But the two guys that produce the most are Carter and McGrady. They've got to get their touches. They've got to get their shots. But what the young players have to learn is they also got to make plays for the other people to keep them involved, because they're doing a lot of the dirty work.
Sean Kemp could not deliver the jumper. Oakley found Davis on a leak out. And now Tracy McGrady is going to wait till everybody gets back with it for Toronto. Vince Carter will make that skip pass. Nice ball movement, Raptors, but Hugh Holland says that's a 3-second violation on Antonio Davis.
Well, Antonio Davis, Vince Carter, and McGrady were all in the lane there expecting a shot to go up from Antonio Davis. He made the extra pass, which was a good one to Muggsy Bogues, who was wide open, but nobody got out of the lane.
Raptors by a deuce at 18-16. Lamont Murray going to go to the hole and roll it home. The pick and roll run beautifully with Andre Miller.
Oh, that was too easy.
Vince Carter will launch the triple that goes. 39% is Vince Carter from three-point land this year. He's shooting it very well.
Vince is putting up fabulous numbers. You know, he's top 10 in scoring. Been about fourth most of the year as Andre Miller on a second opportunity, knocking it in. It's almost a problem for Vince Carter is that he is such a good and a high percentage outside shooter, because he'll settle for it instead of using all of his skills as far as getting to the basket, getting fouled, getting the other team in trouble. You'd be very happy to keep him in front of you, having him launch a lot of jump shots if you're defending him.
The ball rotation is pretty for Toronto. Charles Oakley's got an offensive board off the McGrady miss. Carter wanted to dump down. Lamont Murray got a piece. Oh, Vince Carter with the high wire circus on that throwdown off the Davis miss.
Well, that's where he can do some damage. Not only scoring points for his team, getting high percentage shots, but you see how the crowd reacts when he gets himself above the rim. He can play this game with a lot of flair.
And Muggsy Bogues trying to make life difficult on Andre Miller and getting that basketball into the front court. We'll leave the Cavaliers with a short shot clock right now. It's down at 6. Andre Miller turning that corner. Wes Person with a face-up jumper that rattled as the shot clock was expiring. Muggsy Bogues on the push-out. Carter will go down deep to his cousin Tracy McGrady, who fills up that jump hook.
Now, with all the talk about Vince Carter of late, it's actually been Tracy McGrady the last 12 games. He's been the best all-around player for Toronto, not only scoring, shooting the jumper well, but defending as well.
Wes Person on a flash found Sean Kemp, who was trying to take it up strong, and that'll be the Toronto foul. And it'll be Sean at the free throw line when we come back. So Vince Carter drawing the oohs and ahs at the offensive end as he flies to the hoop.
Well, you see what he can do when he doesn't just stand outside. When he moves himself around the basket, he is lethal.
Second selection of the first round. Trajan Langdon with the ball club. Net. He had the arthroscopic surgery on the knee on February the 2nd out in Los Angeles, and Trajan only was able to go 10 games this year, and about 14 minutes per. Just seemed to be starting to acclimate to this Cavalier backcourt when he was set down, but now traveling with the ball club.
And I noticed before the game out on the floor, not moving all that crisply, but at least getting a lot of shots up at the basket to try to keep his stroke somewhat in order. But it's going to be a long way back for Trajan. A very important summer for him as far as summer league play is concerned.
Oh, you're absolutely right. No question about that. But Charles Oakley going to settle for that 22-foot jumper. Andre Miller will start the Cavaliers into the offensive end after Sean Kemp split the pair of free throws. Sean thinking about taking Charles Oakley. And Sean wanted to muscle his way inside, and Oakley on a slapdown will get hit by James Capers with his second personal foul.
Well, Sean Kemp loves this right now. As Toronto, you can almost sense that Charles Oakley said before the game, listen, don't give me very much help. I don't need it with Sean Kemp. Let me play him. I'll keep him from getting to the basket. Well, he can't do it. He's not quick enough. He doesn't have the lateral movement, and Sean Kemp realizes it. And he can feast on single coverage by Charles Oakley. Charles Oakley is a good team defensive player, not a particularly good individual defender.
Matty and the Oakman just waved off Butch Carter, too. Butch was ready to go grab maybe Kevin Willis off that bench, and the Oakman caught his attention and let him know, now I'm fine with those two personal fouls. So we'll see how that plays out.
Well, you got to wonder whether or not, and you know, it's always fun to look back on trades, and a lot of times you can't tell how good a trade's going to be some 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. But if Marcus Camby was still with this Toronto ball club for the future.
Wow. They would be ultra exciting, not that they aren't already. So again, Sean Kemp splitting the pair of free throws. Cavaliers down by 3. Del Curry on the floor. Del Curry will triple his first touch, and you know it's going in the air.
Well, they pretty much decided about a week ago that they got to get Del Curry out on the floor more to take advantage of his three-point capability. That'll open the floor for people. And it was D. Brown who was the odd man out, but D's back in the mix now because of Doug Christie being injured.
Brevin Knight on the floor for the Cavaliers, and Brevin will get the roll on his jumper from inside the free throw stripe. So Brevin, who averages 9.5 points and 7 assists on the year, and that's Vince Carter at his electrifying best as he just turned the corner and crushed it.
And turns the crowd on. Defensively, you want to keep him in front of you, keep him on the outside. You don't care if he gets his 30 points as long as they're from the perimeter.
Lamont Murray missing on that deep three. Oakley to look at it.
Well, if Butch Carter didn't take him out for his poor defense, he should take him out for too many jump shots right now.
Lamont Murray found Wes Person. He'll set his feet and then miss the triple.
The Raptors not playing with a point guard at all right now. It's Carter, McGrady, and Curry. Neither one really a natural ball handler, playmaker, get your team into the offense type of guy. Oh, that wasn't bad.
Well, that's a beautiful look to Tracy McGrady, who sent it down hard.
The Cavaliers should be asserting themselves defensively here with some more aggressiveness in the backcourt, a little trapping without a point guard on the floor.
Sean Kemp going to put it on the deck, try to muscle his way to the hoop, high off the glass and down. Sean with a look of anguish on his face, maybe looking for a whistle with it.
Oh, he's always looking for a whistle when he draws that contact inside, generally because there is some contact.
Sean with 10 in the opening quarter. Toronto by 6. McGrady in a post-up. Skip pass to Del Curry. Went back rim with his triple. Charles Oakley with an offensive bound. Found McGrady. As the Cavaliers are finding themselves kind of just standing around now at the defensive end. Andrew DeClercq whistled for that personal foul. Bob Sura to check in. Bobby with 21 in the win over Detroit the other night. And so is Danny Ferry. As Danny was also a big part of that Cavalier win. As a bench, did a solid job.
Oh, Danny's been playing outstanding basketball ever since he came back from the injury. Shooting the ball particularly well. Playing good, solid defense.
Antonio Davis will return along with Muggsy Bogues as Charles Oakley sits down. Bobby Bingo Smith is not safe at keeping claim to that #1 spot in the Cavs all-time games played list. Danny Ferry just 2 away right now. This is number 718 with 3 seconds left in the quarter. With a foul to give, Tracy McGrady will reach out to impede the progress of Bob Sura.
Not only a smart foul on the part of Tracy McGrady there, had the foul to give to stop the clock, but did it with just a little bit of time left as Bobby Sura really had a full head of steam going.
1.7. Fading away as Andrew DeClercq to bottom out the jumper as Lamont Murray found him with that inbound look. Now the Cavaliers get the jumper from Andrew DeClercq at the first quarter buzzer. Vince Carter with 7 first quarter points, a couple of them in spectacular fashion on the turn of the corner and this major league flush. 12 minutes in the books. Toronto by 4, 32-28 on Fox Sports Net.
So, they'll get off the bus, pick out the car they want, and be on their way in seconds.
We'll call it Fast Break. Our fastest way to rent a car.
Can we get people from the airport to their car quicker?
We can if we give everyone jet propulsion packs.
Crack open the bleeder valve and fill the tank to 800 psi. What?
I like the fast break idea.
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
I like that one. Okay, let's go with that one. Wow.
Who's the man? I'm the man. Who the hell are you? I plan to fight crime. What's the scam? You're a jewel thief.
His internal affairs.
Hell no, he's FBI. I'm a federale.
You're Mexican? Guess I can see it.
Gracias. Martin Lawrence.
You mind if I drive?
Blue Street.
Playing this month on Direct Ticket, only on Direct TV.
It's called Executive Caterers at Lander Haven because here, business executives can have it all. Whether it's a breakfast meeting in Michelle's, a business seminar in the ballroom, a trade show in the Lander room, or a business dinner in the cabaret room. Whatever your corporate needs, Executive Caterers at Lander Haven offers you an invitation to excellence.
Your company can have it all with Executive Caterers at Lander Haven.
Yesterday, if you went to your typical home improvement store to get laminate flooring, you'd also get glue. Gobs of glue. Today, with Lowe's selection of Armstrong Swiftlock, laminate flooring is a snap. Literally, each board simply locks together. No muss, no fuss, no glue, and all at guaranteed low prices. Could we make this any easier? Armstrong Swiftlock flooring, only at Lowe's, improving home improvement.
Long shots, favorites, a preview of the NHL playoffs tonight.
Sean Camp will get the respite to start this second quarter, but with another solid beginning for the Cavaliers. 10 points to lead the Cavs in the opening quarter. 4-7 from the floor. However, Cavaliers find themselves down by 4. Matty, both ball clubs burning up. Cavs shoot 62%, Toronto 61.
Outstanding shooting. A lot of it coming from the perimeter. There have been a few defensive breakdowns on the part of both teams, but you just don't expect that kind of shooting to continue. We should see some bricks flying there pretty soon.
Randy Whitman has his bench brigade on the floor to start this second quarter. Ferry, DeClerc, and Seth Henderson up front with Brevin Knight and Bob Sura. Shot clock at 1. Vince Carter too strong with his triple try. See where the Cavaliers bench gets. Brevin Knight flying all the way to the hole. Plus one more coming from the line on the Toronto personal foul. It'll go on Vince Carter as Muggsy Bogues and Danny Ferry planted one another.
And that's really what sets up the play here. Danny Ferry doing a good job. Probably, though, should have been called for a foul there as he stuck out his rear end and knocked off Muggsy Bogues. Really wasn't set on the play, but on the other hand, Brevin Knight has to wait for him to get set. Nevertheless, it opened up a nice lane to the basket for the Cavs.
Brevin Knight with a quick 5 for the Cavaliers since he's come on the floor. Finishes off his three-point opportunity, so the Cavaliers pulled it within 1 at 32-31. Muggsy Bogues with Del Curry, Kevin Willis, Antonio Davis, and Vince Carter on the floor. And that Cavalier personal foul is going to go on Danny Ferry.
That was set up by a nice little cross screen by Del Curry. Bob Sura's got to step out and give a bump there for Danny Ferry. That's a tough play to get around, and then that's a tough inside cover for Danny Ferry against Antonio Davis.
This Toronto Ball Club in the 9-game stretch had lost 8 of them. The only win they found in there was that Oakley buzzer beater at the gun. Well, that's another quick one on Danny Ferry as he was holding, according to James Capers, Antonio Davis.
Trying to get around in front. He knows it's very difficult to play Davis in a three-quarter fashion or be certainly behind him. He doesn't want to do, so he's trying to get around in front.
Antonio Davis on that left block. The rotational find Muggsy Bogues. Just Kevin Willis in traffic. Just threw it right over everything. Kevin trying to sight up the shot clock, Matty?
I don't know, but he's doing the right thing as far as trying to save face. Looking to the referee like saying, hey, you don't think I'd shoot the ball that way. Actually, it was good ball movement by the Raptors and good rotation by the Cavaliers hustling coming out of that double team.
Danny Ferry cannot squeeze out his first jumper of the night. Muggsy Bogues surveying the scene as Vince Carter's in a back down. And that's going to be Brevin Knight. Kind of a little bit of a hesitant call from Hugh Hollins.
Brevin Knight's been very active. He can afford to leave Muggsy Bogues, even though Muggsy has already hit a couple of jump shots. He's got to be more of a pesky defender in helping off Bogues while he can, and then just hope he can recover.
Antonio Davis setting up against Danny Ferry.
Which is what Brevin did right there, was able to help and get back to his own man.
Shot clock at 3. Shot clock will be at 2 as Antonio Davis tried to find Vince Carter. Only 2 for Toronto to shoot.
Brevin Knight really making a pest of himself defensively, which is good. And as long as he can do that without getting burned by his original assignment, Muggsy Bogues, that can help. Whoa!
Now, you just don't see it every day, even in this league. Vince Carter, absolutely sensational, high above the rack. Andrew DeClerc tried to force it on Kevin Willis. Toronto basketball.
I have a feeling we're going to see that play again, Michael. Well, with just a couple of seconds left on the shot clock, you always got to be concerned about that lob in the lane. No body on Vince Carter, and just throw it in the air, and he'll do the rest.
Enormous extension from Carter. Del Curry, too strong on that deep jumper, but Andrew DeClerc will get whistled for the Cavalier personal foul. And we'll get our first timeout here in the second quarter, and for the second time tonight, the midair poetry of Vince Carter. Toronto by 3 when we come back.
Teresa Weatherspoon at the buzzer, a 3. Crowd is absolutely stunned. One of the most amazing finishers in the WNBA. Unbelievable. She put it in, and the Liberty win game 2.
I'd love to chat, but I'm getting hungry.
Anyone been to Wendy's lately?
I have.
I have.
Why don't they have the Monterey Ranch chicken sandwich anymore?
They discontinued to create demand.
So it's big news.
When it comes back, that's marketing for you.
Well, when I picture the whole breast fillet with Monterey Jack ranch with bacon, I want to get one.
Who is this?
Dave.
Is he from Wendy's or something?
Hi.
It's back. Wendy's Monterey Ranch.
Here at Fox Sports Net, we know what lengths Indian fans will go to see their tribe.
Fastball drilled to deep center field. This one is gone.
You could say some of these methods are a little extreme.
There's the ground ball to second. Alomar flips to Vizquel on to first for 2.
But after all, 5 years of championship baseball will make anyone a fanatic. Oh, if the ump blows a call, don't take it out on the organ player. Indians baseball all season long on Fox Sports Net.
Cavs basketball on Fox Sports Net being brought to you tonight by Wendy's, where quality has always been our recipe. And by Dodge, do not follow, do not conform, be different. Vince Carter certainly a little bit different. Hope you're enjoying this one tonight with Matt Gukas. I'm Michael Regai, our producer, director, Bob Pennell, associate producer, Doug Johnson, Mike Pachta handling graphics and all the crew here in Toronto. As, yes, Matt Vinsanity has prevailed up here in Canada this year.
Well, when the Raptors were in their valley there, what a lot of teams were doing, anytime Vince Carter went to the basket, they were fouling him and fouling him hard, which discouraged him quite a bit. Now, in that last play, there was no fouling. He was just too high in the air. Nobody could see him without a telescope.
Kevin Willis battling with Cedric Henderson on the baseline. Antonio Davis comes up a little bit gimpy. Now, Hugh Hollins is going to give the basketball to the Cavaliers, and Muggsy Bogues has got to take a foul, or else the Cavaliers would have ran 5-on-4. Knee to knee, it appeared.
Well, Antonio Davis missed some games earlier, which is another thing that threw the Raptors out of whack. You know, they went on a stretch there in March, went out west, and didn't play particularly great basketball, but were able to come away with wins. A lot of them on Vince Carter taking over late in games. They won 11 out of 12, and then they went through a stretch where they lost 8 out of 9. Well, overall, that's 12 and 9, and that's really who that team is.
Yeah.
But again, there's just the wide variance of the winning streak and the losing streak. Oh boy, that's bad defense by the Raptors there.
Brevin Knight just found himself all the way to the rim, but he wasn't able to cash it out. And Cedric Henderson gets whistled for the loose ball foul.
But you know, Michael, the expectations for this team when they did win that 11 out of 12, and they were coming off the All-Star high where Vince Carter won the dunk contest, and all the hype surrounding Vince and the demands on his time really took a toll on this basically young team, because the nucleus and the core of it is Carter and McGrady, and it's been a tough go for them, and it's almost been like a soap opera up here for the last few weeks. Nevertheless, they're going to be a playoff team.
Sure they are. As you said, with a Toronto win tonight and Milwaukee loss as they host Orlando, Toronto Raptors will make their first playoff appearance. They looked like they were going to be last year, Matty, and they were hanging around 500 until they faded. Problem for the Cavaliers right now, we've played 2 minutes and 39 seconds of the second quarter, and Toronto is in the penalty shooting the bonus as Oakley hits a couple.
The other thing is, let's say this team was winning some games, and let's say they won 48, 49, 50 games. But with the expectations being next year, unbelievable, and there are a lot of holes on this team. They are not solid in the point guard position, especially when they rely on Doug Christie to be their starter.
Butch Carter knows that, as he and Glenn Grunwald, the general manager of this ball club, have talked about addressing some of those situations this year. And you wonder if Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady notwithstanding, of course, McGrady's a free agent. He might not be here as we see Tracy McGrady check back in. But, Matt, you wonder if Toronto is a particularly desirable spot, even if Vince Carter is here, for that core group of the 5 or 6 big-name free agents this year.
Well, the only way it would be desirable if they had cap space and there was money available and players couldn't get money anywhere other than that. No, players are not going to flock to Toronto, Canada, or Vancouver for that matter, unless there's money there.
Unless, yeah, the big dollars follow. Cavaliers have Kevin Willis doubled up. Del Curry sheds Bob Sura, but then as his jumper crawled into the hands of Danny Ferry. Cavaliers running. Brevin Knight took the bump, found Andrew DeClercq, who lost the basketball. Raptors by 3 and with it. So McGrady now handling at 6'10" and turning the corner and getting all the way to the hole to finger roll it home. That's why he is very much desired by the likes of Orlando and Chicago and the such.
Multi-talented, and now that outside jump shot is improving, really makes him dangerous.
Bob Sura in a crowd. Got a ball fake Willis. Now Bobby going to go right back at it. The high float won't go down. McGrady handling. Del Curry will quick trigger. Loose ball foul. It's going to go on Kevin Willis as he absolutely decked Andrew DeClercq.
You know, you can understand why Toronto picked up Charles Oakley and Kevin Willis a couple of years ago. The previous season, they were just depleted as far as the center position was concerned. They were trying an overweight Oliver Miller, a Reggie Slater, John Thomas, whatever. They just didn't have anything there, and they were the worst rebounding team in the league. So they retooled and got some big guys and some good rebounders. But you just wonder how long Oakley and Willis are going to be able to contribute to this franchise.
The rejection from Tracy McGrady on Brevin Knight.
He does that very well. 11th best in the NBA.
McGrady not able to cash it out over Danny Ferry. Bob Sura got contact from Del Curry, and then his high rainbow will fall.
Bob was anticipating a whistle after the bump, and in that regard did the right thing, tossing the ball up towards the basket, and then of course got the bonus by knocking it in.
Andre Miller getting set to check back in. Vince Carter will do the same for Toronto. Raptors lead is 3. Cavaliers have lost 2 3-point games here at the Air Canada Center and 1 at the Gun. Tommy Washington now with another whistle on the Cavaliers. So this is the Cavaliers' 17th foul in the first 4 minutes and 51 seconds of the second quarter.
Well, a lot of it is now the Raptors, for whatever reason, in this second quarter, are more conscious of going inside, taking the ball to the basket more. And, of course, when you're that aggressive, you'll start picking up some fouls.
Randy Whitman talking about it with Tommy Washington as Kevin Willis hits his first. Willis now in his 15th year out of Michigan State. Oakley's in his 15th year. Muggsy Bogues in his 13th. Del Curry in his 14th. So those the veterans that basically in that team meeting, Matt, he said, you know what, Carter and McGrady are demanding and monopolizing the basketball too much. We're not getting our touches.
Well, to some degree that is true, and they do have to get involved somewhat. You don't want two guys taking as many shots as they were, and mainly it was because they were settling for the outside shots, and I think that's what the veterans were trying to tell them. You've got more talent than that. You can create plays for us as well as yourself.
I.e. that, and also play the defensive end too, and give us an effort there. Toronto by 5. A lot more coming up when we get back on Fox Sports Net.
Eyes of a puppy dog, lips made for sin. You're not dreaming, I'm for real. We got a call.
Hello.
Louis?
Yeah?
Louis?
Want to get away? Now you can. Fly Southwest Airlines coast to coast for $99 or less when you purchase tickets by May 3rd and travel Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday.
You are now free to move about the country.
Gentlemen, it's our turn.
In the last great war, a group of young Americans was sent to steal a secret from a Nazi submarine. Move! But just when they thought the mission was over, they lost their ride home. On April 21st,
Everything's in German.
get ready to go deep. U-571, rated PG-13, starts April 21st.
A new team is coming. The NHL's Columbus Blue Jackets hit the ice this October. Stay on top of all that's going on by tuning into Blue Jackets Beat on Fox Sports Net. Hosts Jeff Hogan, Dave Miller, and special guests take an in-depth look at the building of Columbus's expansion team. Be ready when the puck drops. Don't miss Blue Jackets Beat.
Blue Jackets Beat, Friday at 7 p.m. Brought to you by Ohio Health, the official healthcare provider of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
The Toronto lead is 5 as we close in on the midway point in the second quarter. Next time we get together with you on Fox Sports Net, final time this year. Week from tomorrow at the gun as the Charlotte Hornets come in to take on the Cavaliers. All of the coverage at 7 o'clock with Cavs countdown. Then so Hornets and the Cavs, 7:30 with Maddie and yours truly at only one place right here on Fox Sports Net. Sean Kemp back on the floor and going to lift that jumper. Kevin Willis to keep Mark Bryant off the glass. So Kemp back on the front line with Bryant and Henderson, Andre Miller and Bob Sura at the guard spots. That's Carter back for Toronto. So is Charles Oakley, who picked up 2 early fouls. This is D. Brown, another veteran on this play. Skip pass from Carter to McGrady. And McGrady will just hang there and bounce his way to the hole.
Well, the Raptors have been doing a good job when they do draw a double team on one side of the floor of making that skip pass to the other side where it's either a wide open shot or a driving lane to the basket. The Cavaliers have to come harder with that double team and bigger to make that a more difficult pass and to make it at least 2 passes.
Andre Miller tried to find a flashing Cedric Henderson. That's a kick, so recycle the shot clock to 14. So both ball clubs, even though McGrady, as you mentioned, Matt, found what he wanted there, both ball clubs have cooled off significantly from the blazing starts in the opening quarter.
Oh, you would expect that. They're not going to shoot 60% the whole game, especially with so many of them coming from the perimeter.
Andre Miller wanted to deliver in Charles Oakley's mug. Mark Bryant with the send back. That won't drop. The Raptors by 7 with a chance to build on their lead. D. Brown to trigger that long triple. D. Brown anticipated. McGrady to the hole. Put it down.
A nice play by D. Brown after a very questionable shot, just dribbling the ball in the front court, raising up for an outside shot. Didn't really understand that, and now miscommunication between Sean Kemp, Bob Sura as Bobby went back door, and Sean threw it to nobody in particular.
Turnover Cavaliers, and on the Cavs on the evening, that is turnover number 5. It's cost them 7 points so far. Cavaliers average just a shade under 18 turnovers per night. Lamont Murray back on the floor. Sura fighting McGrady in that post-up. D. Brown was standing on the sideline. Turnover, Toronto.
Oh, there's that skip pass again. Did I hear you earlier say Tracy McGrady 6'10"?
Yeah. Don't you think?
Maybe. I thought closer to 6'8", but quibbling over a couple of inches.
Oh, no. No, I'll defer to you there. He's long.
He is long. He's a lot taller than Bob Sura.
McGrady going baseline. Got contact from Sean Kemp and Mark Bryant, and he just threw the basketball at Mark Bryant. The 12-year veteran obviously not taking too kindly to that as McGrady gets teed up by Hugh Hollins.
Well, those are the kinds of hard fouls that Vince Carter has been receiving anytime he has driven to the basketball. And now that McGrady's going to go as well, because his jump shot sets that up. You see people coming out to lunge at his jump shot. And that's again, it was I wouldn't call that a hard foul by Bryant. Certainly the technical was in order for throwing the ball. And Mark Bryant doesn't have to do anything more. He made the right defensive play, and I think Tracy McGrady overreacted, but he's got to expect that there's going to be some contact when he drives. And what he and Vince both have to learn, and they haven't done it yet. Now, keep in mind, Tracy at 20, Vince Carter at 23, is they don't know how to initiate contact yet. They're kind of going in there in a very vulnerable fashion, and until they learn that, they're in a lot of jeopardy as far as getting hurt and getting discouraged from going to the basket.
No question. Mark Bryant is still joined with Kevin Willis was acting as the peacemaker as he brought Bryant and McGrady together to try to
I don't think that worked.
verbally work out their differences.
Now, Tracy McGrady says his role model, if you will, idol, Penny Hardaway. And they have a similar type of game, similar type of body. Penny Hardaway outstanding at driving to the basket, and he's the hitter.
Yes,
he's the guy. He's got elbows, shoulder, does it in a very quiet way, but nobody gets a particularly good hard shot at him.
Right.
They usually get whacked by him as he goes to the basket.
But Toronto is on an 8-1 run right now as McGrady has 8 of his 14 here in the second quarter. Sean Kemp being fronted by Tracy McGrady. Kemp trying to save into the hands of Willis. Run out for Vince Carter. D. Brown to triple. Got it.
I was thinking to myself, now Vince Carter is able to catch the ball there and then tomahawk it through, then I will have seen everything.
Cavaliers need a timeout. This has been spurred on by, well, not necessarily Vince Carter, but Tracy McGrady. And I hope my partner Matt Dukas will give me that. He plays like he's 6'10".
I'll give it to you, partner.
That long and lively. Toronto is up the lead to 13. More coming up on Fox Sports Net.
When it's time for excitement.
Fastball drilled to deep center field. This one is gone.
When it's time for fun.
5 hours from Toronto. And we're wearing sunglasses. Kidding. There's a time and a place for everything.
The time is before every Indians game.
The place, Fox Sports Net.
Prime Time brought to you by East of Chicago Pizza.
Well, this peanut butter kind of stick to your mouth. You can't hardly talk good, but you can chew.
To be the best takes strength, speed, endurance. The best way to cure athlete's foot has it all. Lamisil AT. Strength, full prescription strength to stop the itching and burning. Speed, these take 4 weeks of treatment to kill the fungus. Only Lamisil AT cures athlete's foot with just 1 week's use. Endurance, a study showed most users were still athlete's foot free 3 whole months later. Get it all in Lamisil AT, the best way to cure athlete's foot.
Say you're going to miss your favorite TV show because you have to go out of town. Unexpectedly. With a single command, your show can be digitally recorded every time it's on. No tapes, no hassles. Introducing TiVo. It puts you in control. With TiVo, you run the show.
My partner was ready to get up and leave if Vince Carter was going to take this tomahawk, turn his body, and throw it down.
That's something he'll try in the dunk contest next year. Like a 180-degree turn, but Vince Carter not trying to do too much with that. Made the nice play. Could have caught it, come down, and try to dunk it in himself, but made the pass out to the good three-point shooter.
Oh, by the way, Vince Carter now has 6 assists after D. Brown triggered that three. Andre Miller will put his shoulder down, and that dribble drive goes strong all the way to the hole.
The Cavaliers have to realize that there is no shot blocking in there, with the exception of Tracy McGrady, who's very good at it. Vince Carter will get his share, but Willis and Oakley are not good shot blockers as the big man.
Mark Bryant's outlet ripped away by D. Brown. Carter inside. D. Brown to triple. Lamont Murray to sky above Oakley and save. Now Lamont's going to run out. Quick trigger and put it down going glass.
Well, Lamont Murray has had the quick trigger finger a couple times. He's raised up very quickly, knocked a couple of shots down, but doesn't look like the normal one. Certainly not the Lamont Murray that pumped in 30 against these Raptors a few weeks ago.
Lamont Murray on that evening at the gun, the best small forward on the floor, an unstoppable force. D. Brown skating baseline and stepped on the baseline. Turnover, Toronto. The Cavaliers might have found a way with the down 13. Now that with Miller and Murray connecting, they brought it back to 9 with a chance to inch into it a little further.
And the important thing is here, don't just settle for an outside shot. If it comes out of penetration or comes from going inside, that's okay. But got to attack the defenders and attack the basket right now.
Lamont Murray against Vince Carter. Felt a double coming. Sean Kemp gonna go to the hole. Oh, that's a quick punch from the Rain Man.
Yeah, something like that. Too quick for Charles Oakley. Couldn't keep him on the perimeter. Kevin Willis with the short arms can't block the shot. Tracy McGrady wisely did not challenge that one.
And if you notice too, as Charles Oakley's going to lift up and stick that deep jumper. You notice more and more clubs now, when the Cavaliers have the basketball with Lamont Murray down in that isolation, more and more teams will come to help out as Sean Kemp again will rock the rim on that high lob from Andre Miller.
Well, Charles Oakley is just having all kinds of problems defending Sean Kemp on the perimeter, inside. He definitely needs help.
Sean with 14 now to pace the Cavaliers. Oakley again to look at it. And that basketball loose. Lamont Murray, Kevin Willis contest. Lamont obviously had last touch, will stay with Toronto.
And Charles Oakley, while he's getting torched at one end of the floor, is trying to make up for it at the other end by taking the quick jump shots. And this is the problem you have. You have guys like Oakley kind of complaining to the young players, and that he does a lot of things out on the floor that really aren't acceptable. So you can't really be doing the talking unless you're doing the walking.
I hear you, Coach. Cedric Henderson is back in to replace Mark Bryant. Mark having some problems with his the two sleeves that help protect the knees. Carter against Murray. Had to give it up. Del Curry want to go inside, and is that going to be a reach on Sean Kemp? Yes, it is, according to James Capers. 2 on Sean. Toronto's ball swing and their ball rotation, Matty, has been crisp tonight.
Well, very good, and of course that'll help you out at the offensive end. And it was Sean Kemp in the rotation who had to pick up the smaller, quicker Carter in the post. And as Sean will do, these are not physical fouls that Sean Kemp is picking up. We saw him foul Charles Oakley on a three-point attempt, and here a reach in on Carter. But it's easy for me to sit here and say that. What Sean Kemp is probably thinking is saying, hey, this 6'7" guy, if he catches the ball here, he may do something really neat to me that I might not like. It might not look too good. I think I'll foul him now.
Probably a good idea.
And find my own man.
Yeah. Vince Carter just split the pair from the line. Andre Miller to use a Lamont Murray pick. Lamont had it slapped away momentarily, and then McGrady ripped it. Now the Cavaliers not at all decisive in what they want to get into. And McGrady picked Lamont Murray's pocket, and Lamont with his first personal foul as he grabs McGrady.
Well, anytime you have a fumble like this, you're losing the ball. You see what Lamont Murray tried to do. He tried to recover the ball by dribbling it. That's generally going to be a problem for you against quick, active players. the first thing you got to do is just pick up the basketball, maintain possession. These little things, they add up. They add up over the course of a game. They add up over the course of a season. And the teams that are able to accomplish the little things in a positive way, the teams are going to win out in the end.
Tracy McGrady now with 15 on the night. McGrady's still a candidate, even though he's starting for the Sixth Man of the Year award in the NBA. He's the second best scorer off the bench, behind Katina Mobley down in Houston, averaging off the bench 15.3 points per game.
Raptors coaches are absolutely thrilled with the way he has come on, and they say really it's been the last few months, the maturity on and off the floor. The Raptors wisely have hired a personnel firm to handle a lot of his doings on and off the floor as far as his demeanor and managing his time, and it is really paid dividends for Tracy McGrady. And give the young man credit. Remember, we saw him a couple years ago. Not much of a worker. They say he is becoming a legitimately hard worker.
Vince Carter just got whistled for the foul. He wasn't able to keep up with Andre Miller, who turned the corner. The Cavaliers are going to talk about it with his 22nd timeout. We heard from Randy Whitman, Matty, at the top of the show with regard to Shawn Kemp and how things have come together for Shawn, and thereby the team ball movement and involvement at the offensive end has followed suit. Obviously, and we'll hear from Randy a little bit more about this in the second half, but he was very disappointed in the effort down in Miami last week when the Cavaliers, quite frankly, in the second half seemed to have their minds elsewhere.
Well,
and it got squared away going into Indiana and home against Detroit.
Well, and again, the Cavaliers have had, I guess, more than their share of those kind of debacle type games where it looks like the effort falls apart when you get way behind, and that obviously has upset Randy Whitman, the coaching staff, the players themselves. Whereas I think you constantly expect from your team a consistent effort where that is avoided. Well, it just doesn't happen all the time. It's, you know, those things will happen. It's how you come out of them, how you recover from those experiences and from those periods of adversity. And you know, sometimes it can make you grow as a team.
Well, and that's what Randy Whitman and GM Jim Paxson are going to keep their eyes on here in the final 5 games of this NBA season. Down to a minute 20 left in this first half. Well, Vince Carter picked up that loose change and threw it down from in tight.
Well, you got to keep a body on Vince Carter anytime he's within 15 feet of the basket. You don't mind if he's out 20, 25 feet launching jump shots, but when he's around the basket, you have to keep the body on him and be physical with him.
Del Curry raked it away from Cedric Henderson. Now 12 on the shot clock as Cavaliers come to it. Henderson baseline got held by Michael Stewart. Stewart, who was picked up by this ball club and has been relegated to short minutes off the bench now.
I was talking with Joe Harrington, assistant coach for Butch Carter and the Toronto Raptors. I was saying, you know, the fact that they lost 8 out of 9, they had a terrible looking loss here last Sunday against Indiana, followed up with another bad loss against Detroit. And I said, it's probably the best thing that has happened to your team, because since that they have turned it around a little bit. They came out of that meeting with a little bit of a different mindset. The hype has died down a little bit. There's not the attention. People are laying off Vince Carter a little bit more. You never know. It may be one of those little things that spurs this team on. They are going to be in the playoffs, and of course nothing will be expected from them there if they're playing a 1-2-3 type C team.
Cedric Henderson splitting the pair. So we'll hit 50 seconds left in this opening half. Vince Carter had to readjust it because Lamont Murray was in his shirt. Now Lamont to pick it up. And Lamont got whistled for clearing off, trying to create some space for himself. Well, it's a second on Lamont. Interesting call down there as Murray came out of the pack and was whistled for an offensive foul.
They did a good defensive job against Carter, making him take a tough shot. And it looked like Lamont Murray had the basketball and was coming out of the pack. I did not see the wipeout. Wow.
Vince Carter. It did not go down, but he is going to get to the free throw line as Cedric Henderson will get hit with his second personal foul.
One of the many unique things about Vince Carter, we've seen it a couple of times actually after the whistle. He throws the ball up the rim and hits the floor, I mean barely, momentarily, and he is up in the air again very, very quickly, explosively. and usually is going to do something entertaining.
No question.
Even after the whistle,
sure.
Even if it doesn't count.
Well, that's a mindset. This crowd up here, they'll ooh and ah, even after a whistle. Well, Vince Carter now with 7 of his 16 here in the second quarter. Cavaliers are going to use their second 20-second timeout here as we wind things down in quarter number 2. Matty, I think this might be a good time to take a peek at the Eastern Conference playoff structure right now, as I know the guys in the truck have done their usual fine job in building things during the course of this day. And you know, yesterday some wild goings on around the NBA, as of course Tim Hardaway with a 3-point throw at the buzzer to beat the New York Knicks. And if the playoffs started today, Indiana now is just a game ahead of Miami. They match up with that number 8 seed. Orlando has been playing very well. Miami and Detroit, Philadelphia, Charlotte 4-5, and the New York Knicks against this Toronto ball club. But things could change in the final 9 days of the regular season.
I wouldn't be surprised if they changed it all, but if things stayed that way, I think that Indiana is the one team that Orlando would have trouble with. I think Orlando would be a serious threat to either Miami or New York. Indiana might just be able to slow them down a little too much.
Andre Miller got to the dotted line. His leaner will not fall. Now Toronto can use it all with 12 seconds left in the first half. Raptors up by 11 and with the basketball. McGrady baseline. This is D. Brown for 3. Ring it up. At the first half buzzer, Cavaliers did not get out the D. Brown after McGrady gave it up, and he stroked the triple. So Toronto's Raptors do a 61-point first half number on the Cavaliers.
Well, Tracy McGrady, a threat with the basketball, going to draw the attention of the defense of the Cavaliers. Looking over to help out, and Andre Miller got caught peeking and not staying close enough to the dangerous 3-point shooter. D. Brown and McGrady doing a good job of making the extra pass.
The Cavaliers have some talking to do on the defensive end and some ground to make up in the second half. We'll start halftime next.
As the coaches can only say it so much, it almost becomes a mantra for coaches. It's the individual team leaders that really have to take care of that and lead.
Understand that Orlando, that was a totally different situation for you as an expansion team, but I'm assuming of what you said that in Philadelphia you were able to allow those team leaders, some of those veterans in your Philly locker room, help you police a little bit, correct?
Well, I was very lucky to have Julius Erving there. The case closed right there. The professional way that he handled himself on the floor in the locker room at practice, that meant very easy. But also in Orlando with expansion teams, not very good teams, Carter's got it going from the outside to start the third quarter. But even with Orlando, we had enough good team leaders who you never had a problem with them as far as practice effort and trying to give an effort on the floor. That doesn't mean you don't get blown out from time to time, but certainly not from a lack of effort.
Vince Carter connecting at one end. Wes Person depositing his leaning jumper at the other. So we're underway in this third quarter. Wes Person with his third field goal. He has 6. We'll talk more about that too, Matty, as we go on through the course of the second half with regard to the evaluation process that Jim Paxson, Randy Whitman, and the staff are under. This is Antonio Davis. It rattled.
Well, defensively, despite that first jump shot by Carter, the Cavaliers have to keep Toronto out on the perimeter, keep them shooting jumpers. But also at the other end, the Cavaliers have to go inside, either with the drive, throw it into the post. A lot of good scoring opportunities in there. Get the Toronto Raptors in foul trouble.
Well, Tracy McGrady's going to yank it up and knock it down.
That's still all right. That's the third straight jump shot they've taken, and even though they've made 2 out of 3, when they start taking jump shots, that becomes contagious, and everybody gets standing around. That's when you can start making a run when they start missing them.
Andre Miller wanted to go to the reverse, and Antonio Davis whacked him. And that'll get Andre to the free throw line. So, well, Matty, other than Sean Kemp, we haven't seen the Cavaliers really attack aggressively offensively. Lamont Murray did it in a big-time way in the game at the gun against Toronto.
Well, now, again, we saw Andre Miller a couple of times break down defenders in the first half, but not nearly enough. And really, if Andre's game has tailed off in a number of areas, and I think it has in the second half of the season, that's the biggest area. When he first came on the scene, he just made a living being able to penetrate in the lane and create havoc, draw fouls, finish off plays, and it's been absent for quite some time.
It almost belied him being a rookie because at times he got anything he wanted.
Now, I'm a little surprised. I don't know if it's the so-called hitting the wall. Now, those kind of plays you can't give up. They are high percentage, and they are demoralizing. The slam dunk by Antonio Davis.
Sean Kemp and Mark Bryant got confused, and Davis was there to pound it down. Antonio Davis was 6. Here's the attack of the hole. Lamont Murray had it stripped away. And Wes Person is going to reach out and put a clamp on Tracy McGrady. First on Wesley. Well, Carter and McGrady and little Muggsy Bogues are in their free-flowing best tonight. They're looking for runouts at every opportunity. Well, Carter to handle against Lamont Murray. Lamont Murray had a strip away. Last touch, Lamont. As Charles Oakley could not connect with Vince Carter.
And the Raptors have been doing more of this, putting the ball in the hands of Carter, almost making him more of an initiator of plays and a playmaker instead of just always standing on the perimeter waiting to take a jump shot.
Here's Antonio Davis in a back down. He'll give it up to McGrady. Andre Miller now bouncing to the offensive end against Muggsy Bogues. Sean Kemp found a slashing Andre Miller, but he could not find the rim. Muggsy Bogues will go upstairs. Electrifying send-in from Vince Carter.
Tough break at the other end for the Cavaliers. Forward inside the Kemp. Nice slashing move by Miller. Unable to finish the play, and that's what happens when you miss those golden opportunities as Bogues and Carter teamed up on a beauty.
Lamont Murray trying to take Charles Oakley. Got to the hoop and is going to get to the line. As Murray took a hit.
Well, Muggsy Bogues had this one eyeballed all the way up there. Knew where he had Vince Carter coming in on the right side. And as a passer, even a little guy like Muggsy Bogues, who's an excellent passer on the fast break, he knows he doesn't have to make a perfect one, although that was right there. Because a guy like Vince Carter can get it so high in the air, stays up so long, has good, big, strong hands, and can finish off so well.
Lamont Murray splitting his pair of free throws. Cavaliers find themselves down 18. And that's a danger zone for the Cavs here in this early part of the third. Tracy McGrady went up top. He beat Wes Person getting to the iron, and Person gave him a shove.
Well, the Raptors are clicking right now, and I thought they'd be in a little trouble despite making those first couple of 2 out of 3 jump shots to start the third quarter. Now they are really executing very well. We saw the fast break play. Now in the half court, they're executing better. And that bodes well for Butch Carter and his team, because so many teams in this league have problems when they have to play half-court basketball. It's absolutely crucial come playoff time that they execute well, and then when those plays break down, there's Tracy McGrady instead of the 15-foot foul shot.
That's like your old teammate, the late great
Will Chamberlain.
Yes.
He used to get off to the side just a tad, too.
Yeah.
Oh, off center. Tracy McGrady, who has improved his free throw shooting up to 71%. One of the reasons why Butch Carter in the early part of this season was not playing him at crunch time. Didn't trust his foul shooting.
Lead is 20 right now. Sean Kemp wants to take Oakley. Well, Hugh Hollins blew the whistle, I think, hesitantly, and the Oak man has just picked up his 4th personal foul. You had to call something because Sean took his stride trying to angle through the paint and just came down and stopped with the basketball. Kevin Willis coming back in the first quarter, Matty. I mentioned that after he got 2 quick ones, Charles Oakley waved off Butch Carter, but not this time.
Oh, he did wave a little bit. It was a little tiny wave. Butch ignored it.
Sean Kemp now trying to wheel with power. Oh, McGrady came from the weak side and denied it. Muggsy Bogues in a hurry. McGrady baseline. Andre Miller on the personal foul. Matt, I'm not so sure that this crowd doesn't get as hyped over Tracy McGrady's fluid antics as they do with Vince Carter.
Well, you know, you expect, you're up in Canada, a hockey crowd, but, they've seen basketball for a number of years here. They know good defensive plays when they see them, and that's a specialty of Tracy McGrady at the defensive end. He is a good help-out shot blocker.
McGrady found a flashing Antonio Davis. And that Cavalier personal foul is going to go on Sean Kemp, his third. Davis has been able to, off high picks, Matt, find his way to the front of the rim too frequently tonight.
Well, Sean Kemp is very frustrated right now, no doubt because he got that last shot block, but also with his teammates and in letting people come through the lane, and he feels like he's the last line of defense in there, having to commit either hard fouls or whatever.
Antonio Davis, who bruised his right quadricep in the first half, back on the floor here to begin half number 2. Antonio with a couple of free throws. He has 8. He leads his ball club at 9 rebounds per night. Not, as Matt mentioned to you, not a particularly strong rebounding team. Andre Miller using a Lamont Murray pick. Murray to lift it and knock down the jumper.
Just about every time that Lamont Murray has touched the ball, he has looked to score, looked to shoot it in every run. Now, he is a small forward. His job is to score out there. But again, he's got to do other things than look to shoot it just every time, or his teammates are going to stop throwing him the ball all the time.
And McGrady came up short as Bob Sura will check in to replace Wes Person. Interesting that you mentioned that about Lamont, Matty. The other night, I know the coaching staff felt Lamont with 21 points, had 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals in the win over Detroit. So he's obviously capable of that type of all-around activity. Sean Kemp spotted up into the hands of Kevin Willis. And Muggsy Bogues again looking to push. McGrady to raise up and ring it up.
He has been on a jump shooting tear of late, and it does look very good. It's a solid fundamental shot. And when he has that going, a lot of other things open up for Tracy McGrady at the offensive end with his ability to put the ball on the floor and go to the hoop.
Things not happening in a solid fashion for the Cavaliers. Toronto was over the lead to 22 on Fox Sports Net.
Last.
Want to get away?
Oh.
Fly Southwest Airlines coast to coast for $99 or less when you purchase tickets by May 3rd and travel Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday.
You are now free to move about the country.
Voted most popular, most trusted, most loved, most versatile, most likely to succeed. Minivan in its class. Dodge Caravan. Different.
A new team is coming. The NHL's Columbus Blue Jackets hit the ice this October. Stay on top of all that's going on by tuning into Blue Jackets Beat on Fox Sports Net. Hosts Jeff Hogan, Dave Miller, and special guests take an in-depth look at the building of Columbus's expansion team. Be ready when the puck drops. Don't miss Blue Jackets Beat.
Blue Jackets Beat Friday at 7 p.m. Brought to you by Ohio Health, the official healthcare provider of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Cavs basketball on Fox Sports Net on a Monday night out of downtown Toronto, being brought to you by Southwest Airlines. With fares so low, you have the freedom to go places and do the things you never thought possible. Fly Southwest. And by McDonald's. Enjoy 4 fabulous combo meals for only $1.99 plus double cheeseburgers, only 99 cents every day and only at McDonald's. Michael Regai with Matt Dukas and Tracy McGrady having quite an evening for himself, along with his cousin Vince Carter.
And Randy Whitman will go to Bob Sura to try to cool off McGrady right now, as Wesley Person had no success whatsoever to start this third quarter.
Andre Miller got to the dotted line, rejected by McGrady. Carter will find Bogues on the solo to the hole. Oh, Tracy McGrady dominant at the defensive end as well.
It doesn't get any prettier than that. The outstanding defensive play by Tracy McGrady. Carter with the excellent feed to Muggsy Bogues.
Lamont Murray will back it out of there and find Bob Sura. Came up short on the triple try. Andre Miller will give it up. Murray to triple. Book it. Lamont Murray, he has been ultra hot, Matt. He is now gone 23 of his last 46 from home run range. That's 50%.
And he's 5 for 7. I just mentioned that he's looking to shoot it every time. It's not that he's taking that many shots. He's not getting the ball that much, but when he gets it, he's looking to score.
Vince Carter stroking it over the top of Lamont. Bob Sura on the dash to the rim. Had to give it up to Murray inside. Oh, Lamont fading away. That's a tough jumper from behind the glass. Kevin Willis. Oh, never got to the rim.
He's looking around again, begging for that foul. In the first half, he put one over the backboard looking for a foul.
Now Willis is on Sura. Let's see if Bob wants to take him. Oh, the mismatch with Mark Bryant. Sean Kemp to raise and ring it. Sean Kemp with his first notch on the board here in quarter number 3. Sean was 16. Carter on the handle up top. Antonio Davis left that rolling hook real short. Sura on the run out. Bob Sura will convert with a left hand.
A gorgeous feed by Andre Miller, who knew he had Sura streaking and just put it right in the hands of Bob Sura for the finish.
Now Butch Carter is going to get it stopped. The Ohioan from Middletown, the head coach of the Toronto Raptors. And we have got this timeout on the floor. I'm not sure if it's a 20 or a full. I'm going to assume it's a full timeout. If we can get Hugh Holland's attention, Matty.
Well, and the players are sitting on the bench. That's usually a pretty good indicator.
We're going to take it. Our assumption. Let's hope it's correct. Toronto by 19 on Fox Sports Net.
I'm a victim of child abuse. My life has been ruined because someone abused me very badly. Every day I fight to survive the flashbacks and nightmares. The effects are devastating, and for me, it's lasted my whole life. I suffer because I can't trust anyone. I want to fight back. I want people to know it's wrong to abuse children.
Who's the man? I'm the man. Who the hell are you? I plan to fight crime. What's the scam? You're a jewel thief.
His internal affairs.
Hell no, he's FBI. I'm a federale.
You're Mexican? Guess I can see it.
Gracias. Martin Lawrence.
You mind if I drive?
Blue Street.
Playing this month on Direct Ticket, only on DirecTV.
Down on Dodge Durango?
Here's where its best-in-class Magnum V8 power lives.
It's longer and wider down here.
For best-in-class room up there. And
say hello to best-in-class available towing. Want the best? Get a Durango. Me? I want one of these. Dodge Durango. Different.
Toronto's lead is 19 at 79-60 as a couple old teammates have to chat right in front of us, huh? Kevin Willis and Randy Whitman.
Well, Randy Whitman, an outstanding shooter. Here's what the two young fellas are doing. Scoring as they usually do, but doing it very efficiently.
Our AutoZone game summary tonight. McGrady and Carter have combined for 44 points. Tommy Washington has Tracy McGrady. We're setting in a legal pick, and that is McGrady's first foul of the night. Don't make it his second.
Well, Randy Whitman with still some sense of humor left, which is hard after a tough season, but needling his old teammate, Kevin Willis, about a couple of his shots. Of course, Randy could afford to do that. He was an outstanding shooter with those Atlanta Hawk teams.
Lamont Murray on the duck in, and he'll rip another jumper. So Lamont with an 8-point third quarter. Sean Kemp found him. Murray with 14. Second on the ball club to Kemp. Lamont averaging a career best 16 points per night. Antonio Davis will give it up. Well, Randy Whitman may have another chance to heckle as Kevin Willis bricked another jumper. And little Muggsy Bogues on the reach-in.
Now, Antonio Davis has been begging for the ball more and more. He wants to get the ball inside, not necessarily to be a scoring threat. He wants to do a little bit of that, but he said, hey, I'll try to find people from the inside out, and we'll become a better basketball team. And the Raptors are trying to get it to him more.
Bob Sura with a baseline knockdown of his jumper. So the Cavaliers catching a little bit of a spark here. They brought it back to 15. It's an 11-2 run.
The Raptors have been on the perimeter the last couple of minutes, taking those jump shots, and when they're not going down, good things can happen for the opposition, the Cavaliers in this case.
Muggsy Bogues, face-up jumper that's right there.
Well, Muggsy Bogues is knocking down the outside shot after all the people are leaving. You're in a lot of trouble.
You're in trouble, right?
That's the shot you got to give up against a good offensive team that has a couple good offensive players out there in McGrady and Carter.
Bob Sura looking to take McGrady, try to muscle it up. Wouldn't go down. Now McGrady will start the run out for Toronto. Andre Miller fighting Vince Carter. Last touch, Vince Carter. Let's go the Cavaliers' way.
Good hustle by Andre Miller, battling the bigger Carter in there. Did the wise thing by not just standing behind him where he would have been in a lot of trouble. Able to get around, get a piece of the ball, and force the turnover. That's good transition defense on the part of the rookie, Andre Miller.
D. Brown back on the floor now. Andrew DeClerc getting set to check in. Sean Kemp handling up top. Bob Sura looking to break down D. Brown. Shot clock at 5. Sean Kemp from the dotted line. Did not get the roll. Mark Bryant, Lamont Murray battling. Murray kept it alive for Kemp to corral. Fresh 24 Cavaliers. That's got to be an illegal defense. There's got to be. Yeah, Andre Miller was pointing it out. Kevin Willis was about 3 zones away from anybody.
Well, you had Willis, you had D. Brown, you had a whole bunch of fellas in there. As Sean Kemp with the post-up is drawing a lot of attention from the Raptors. And Sean has to continue to do it. He's not going to be able to do it right now as he goes to the bench for a breather.
Sean with 18 points and 5 boards, sitting down with his 3 personal fouls. So Andrew DeClerc joins Mark Bryant and Lamont Murray on the front line. Bob Sura with that high float. Oh, Lamont Murray vicious with that send back.
Oh, terrific sequence for Lamont Murray on the play before, able to keep the ball and the possession alive, and then doing a little Carter-like getting up in the air for the slam.
Well, Lamont had the best of Vince Carter 13 nights ago. That's ugly from Charles Oakley as he lifted it from deep. McGrady, though, on the return as he got it up on the glass, and that Cavalier personal foul is going to go on Andrew DeClerc.
The athleticism of Tracy McGrady, able to dig out that loose ball in the lane and get up in the air very explosively. About a week or so ago, Tracy McGrady was playing with a very bad back, which hampered him quite a bit at the defensive end of the floor, but still was able to knock down his outside shots and continue to put up good numbers and continue to stay out on the floor, want to play instead of taking a rest. And that's another thing the Raptors coaching staff is surprised about. He's 20-year-old, his first, extended playing time over the long course of a season, and he has held up very well, they feel.
Well, Tracy McGrady has had another big quarter, 6 in the first, 10 in the second, and now 8 more in the third. He's got 24. We approach the 2-minute mark. Here in the third, Toronto up 17. Bob Sura to try to inch into it as he'll dial up some long distance. Bob was 7 of his 11 here in the third. Bobby had 21 in his biggest night in quite some time in the win over Detroit.
Cavaliers going to look for a little momentum here to end the third quarter, and that's where they got to start to do it at the defensive end. Get a couple of stops, get a couple of fast break baskets, and you make a couple of jumpers, and all of a sudden you're back in the game, and you have the Raptors starting to think a little bit.
Vince Carter going to quick trigger. That's going to come up wide right. Brevin Knight back on the floor. Andrew DeClerc inside. Andrew DeClerc with the flush as Brevin Knight found him standing by himself.
Nice look inside by Brevin Knight, and a good job of bodying by Andrew DeClerc, getting once again the victimized Charles Oakley again defensively.
Mismatch now. Carter's going to lift and rattle it home. 22 for Vince Carter. Trading hoops right now. 85-71. Toronto by 14. Brevin Knight found Mark Bryant. Easy deuce for Bryant on the roll to the hoop.
The interior defense of the Raptors right now is sieve-like between Oakley and Kevin Willis, as the Cleveland Cavaliers and Brevin Knight in particular are picking them apart.
And Charles Oakley on the handle up top. Shot clock at 6. Vince Carter's got a quick trigger and fill it.
That's amazing. He took a long jump shot over here on the left side, looked terrible leaving his hand, and now goes over to the right side where he's much more comfortable and knocks down 2 tough jumpers.
Brevin Knight wanted to go to Andrew DeClerc. Andrew fumbled the basketball. 2 seconds separate game clock and shot clock as we wind it down here in quarter number 3. Toronto by 14 and with it. Shot clock now at 5. D. Brown's going to come to it with McGrady against Lamont Murray. McGrady. Lamont Murray got a piece of it. And if Hugh Hollins call a foul, did he get a whistle on Lamont Murray?
I heard a whistle. I did not see a fist go up in the air yet. I saw something go up in the air, but I'm not sure.
Yep, he did. As the shot clock was expiring, that's 3 on Lamont, who had a 10-point third quarter going on.
Just about every end of quarter situation, the Raptors try to get the ball in the hands of Tracy McGrady. And yes, Lamont Murray, like they used to say on the playground, Michael, the hand is part of the ball. But that's a foul.
Well, gives Tracy McGrady free throw opportunities. I don't think Lamont is in sync with Hugh Hollins particularly. Nevertheless, McGrady at the line. Matty, we talked about how unique this is for a young player to stand some 3 feet back off the line. We mentioned the late Wilt Chamberlain. You had another teammate, Hal Greer, that shot jump shots from the free throw stripe.
And very effectively. Of course, that was Hal's game on the fast break, and he had the ball in the middle of the floor. He used to raise up for that 15 to 17-foot jump shot. So I figured, why not shoot it from the line?
Andrew DeClerc gets hit with a walk with 2.1 left. So the Cavaliers got it 94 feet, got DeClerc down there in scoring position, but he traveled.
Well, sometimes Andrew has trouble with the hands as far as catching the ball. Did a good job there, but evidently could not keep from shuffling his feet. I thought he did a good job of able to holding on with the possession.
Now Charles Oakley shooing away one of the popcorn ladies. D. Brown. Got glass, and that's it at the third quarter buzzer. 36 minutes in the books. Cavaliers got a 10-point third quarter from Lamont Murray and some absolute emphasis on a putback throwdown here off the Bob Sura miss. Well, Lamont sending it down strong. However, Toronto's lead is 17 when we get back on Fox Sports Net.
It's called Executive Caterers at Lander Haven because here, business executives can have it all. Whether it's a breakfast meeting in Michelle's, a business seminar in the ballroom, a trade show in the Lander Room, or a business dinner in the Cabaret Room. Whatever your corporate needs, Executive Caterers at Lander Haven offers you an invitation to excellence.
Your company can have it all with Executive Caterers at Lander Haven.
There's a lot more to working in AutoZone than looking up parts or ringing up sales. And it has to do with taking pride in taking care of customers. Like testing an old part before selling a new one. Or simply having what they need when they need it. In other words, it's about taking care of people who take care of cars. And that's what we do best at AutoZone.
The new Dodge Neon is heavy on standard features, including a 16-valve engine and 4-wheel independent suspension, along with theater-style lighting, 4 cup holders, an integrated tissue holder, and tons of other creature comforts. Dodge Neon. Different.
You're huge everywhere. Tim
it's him. Everybody just kind of looks at me and thinks, you know, got a screw loose or something.
Get away from me. Get away from me. You are a sick human being. Pete, do you still gamble? Sure. But not on sports. You're a marquee player, but you have never won Jack.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that dislike you.
What? The Last Word, weeknights at 6:30 and 11:30 on Fox Sports Net.
It is all good.
Live the wildlife? Tune in to World Championship Fishing and learn to be the best.
What a pie.
Then, Outdoor Trails, where the rugged tradition continues. Live to be outdoors. Sunday morning on Fox Sports Net.
Up here joining us with tonight out of the Air Canada Center. Start quarter number 4. Michael Rega and Matt Gukas with you here as the Cavaliers try to inch into this 17-point deficit. Cedric Henderson never got a jump hook anywhere near the rim.
Well, big key for the Cavaliers to start this fourth quarter, try to keep Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady under control. They have 27 and 26 between them. The Carter part will be easy. He sits on the bench getting a breather. But Cedric Henderson's got his hands full with McGrady. D. Brown now operating with Muggsy Bogues, trying to turn the corner on Andrew DeClercq. Muggsy to beat that shot clock. McGrady kept it alive with that length. Bob Sura on a run out. Sura to the hole, took a hit, couldn't finish, but is going to get to the free throw stripe for the Cavaliers.
That's his first personal foul.
Cavaliers able to get out and run and get a good chance. Bobby taking his time just a tad there, enabling D. Brown to get back into the play to at least make Bob Sura go to the line and earn them rather than giving him the wide open layup. That's a veteran play, though, by D. Brown, who, for all intents and purposes, is a big favorite of Butch Carter. Although he did force him to go on the injured list when he felt he was not ready to play. That seemed to upset Charles Oakley and some others, but probably the best thing for the team and D. Brown at that particular time to make sure he got himself in the best possible shape he could as far as his rehabilitation and comeback.
Evidently, he has satisfied his head coach. Back in the rotation now. Bob Sura with a couple of free throw hits. Sura with 13. McGrady's going to jack it up. Cavaliers with numbers. Set Henderson will fly to the hole and throw down off the Brevin Knight assist.
The Toronto Raptors transition defense falling apart. D. Brown again, the lone man back, couldn't get to was it Cedric Henderson?
It was, and Butch Carter none too pleased as he called the offensive set and let D. Brown know exactly what he wanted run. D. Brown, can he triple or what? How that rainbow three fell.
That's his specialty, coming off a career high, or season high, I should say, against Chicago the other night. Really, the only reason he's in the rotation is because Doug Christie's hurt.
Cavaliers have seen way too much of it. Cedric Henderson got swatted by Antonio Davis. Last touch, Brevin Knight. We will go Toronto's way. Well, the Cavs have seen enough of D. Brown. He's averaged 15.5 per game.
Well, Cedric Henderson being very aggressive offensively on his touches here to start the third quarter. But when you have Sean Kemp on the floor, you have to establish him in any kind of half-court offense, whether it's a pick-and-pop play to get him isolated a little bit, or definitely dump the ball in the post, because Sean Kemp's going to draw the attention of the defense.
Cavaliers down by 16 as we're going to hit the 10-minute mark here in quarter number 4. Davis along with Oakley and McGrady on the front line now with D. Brown and Muggsy Bogues. So D. Brown finally misfired on the triple try. Boy, and Tracy McGrady. Yeah, Matt, he does play about 6'10 or 6'11. So long and lively.
The long arms, and that was a good block out by Cedric Henderson. He had him well on his back, but McGrady, like an elastic man there, able to reach around, nevertheless, over the top.
You give us a timeout, but don't go anywhere now. We're going to step aside just briefly. Timeout here at the Air Canada Center. Cavaliers down 16 on Fox Sports Net.
Sorry, honey.
You are now free to move about the country.
I'd love to chat, but I'm getting hungry.
Anyone been to Wendy's lately?
I have.
Why don't they have the Monterey Ranch chicken sandwich anymore?
They discontinued to create demand. So it's big news when it comes back. That's marketing for you.
Well, when I picture the whole breast fillet with Monterey Jack ranch with bacon, I want to get one.
Who is this Dave? Is he from Wendy's or something?
Hi.
It's back. Wendy's Monterey Ranch.
You gotta have hope. You gotta have hope. Without hope, life is meaningless. Without hope, life is meaningless and less. You gotta have hope. You gotta have hope. You gotta have hope. You gotta have...
With Toronto's lead at 16 here early fourth, we want to let you know what's coming up for your viewing pleasure on Fox Sports News Primetime. We'll give you a sneak peek of the headlines. Cleveland Indians, after their demolition of Tampa Bay, out in the Bay Area to tangle with Oakland tonight. And Griffey Jr. looking to put another notch in the home run book. And big one going on at Madison Square Garden. The Indiana Pacers, who were shelled yesterday by Charlotte, and the New York Knicks, who had their heart broken on the Tim Hardaway three-point throw at the buzzer in overtime to beat the Knicks, as Brevin Knight will rainbow his short jumper up and down.
Well, Brevin Knight looks like a mountain of a man out there as he took the little Muggsy Bogues to the baseline. Just raised up over the little guy. That Brevin Knight doesn't get that very often, except in practice against Earl Boykin.
Sure. Antonio Davis trying to roll to the hoop one more time, and this time from top to bottom, the connection wasn't there for the Toronto Raptors. They've had a lot of that though tonight, Matty, as we said, in Davis setting the high pick and then rolling to the bucket.
Once again, the Cavaliers have to go inside with, despite the fact that Antonio Davis, a better defender than Kevin Willis, still a lot to be had in there.
Andrew DeClercq went back rim with it. Vince Carter up a little bit higher than Cedric Henderson. Inside 9 minutes left. Toronto by 14, looking to end their 4-game home losing streak. Cedric Henderson bodied up on Vince Carter, pushed him right off the spot. That's 3 on set.
Vince Carter must be feeling a lot better than he was a couple of weeks ago when he was really banged up. Everything was aching him. He's had a bad shoulder, but he's starting to work for position a little bit more, getting a little bit more active rather than just going to a spot and hoping to catch the ball.
Oakley over the top of Sean Kemp. And Oakley wanted to wrap around to Muggsy Bogues. Wanted to go upstairs to Vince Carter. Said Henderson knocked it away. Bouncer to the hoop. Bouncer to solo. Bobby's got 15. Andrew DeClercq battling with Carter.
Charles Oakley likes that long ball, likes to throw the long pass, and will throw it at any time.
And sometimes it'll kill you too.
Yes.
Sean Kemp on a reach in. And Sean Kemp is going to get whistled for personal foul number 4.
Vince is a little upset right now. He's been getting banged around, as he will when he goes in and around the basket. He's going to get hit. He's got to get used to it. And that doesn't mean anybody should be taking cheap shots at him or trying to hurt him or anything like that, but it's going to be physical inside, and he can certainly dish it out, and he's got to do that a little bit more. If he's the aggressor, he's going to do the hurting.
Vince Carter going to wheel by Seth Henderson. Andrew DeClercq showed up to try to negate Carter's explosiveness, and it'll be Andrew on the personal foul.
That's just what I'm talking about, Michael. That time Carter on the quick spin knew there was going to be some traffic in there, some bodies, and he did the hitting. He initiated into Andrew DeClercq, and when you do that, not only going to draw the foul and get to the line, you're going to keep yourself from taking the brunt of the attack.
Carter now will look to split the pair. The Rookie of the Year, of course, last year in the NBA, and I think a lot of people have forgotten already that he was actually drafted by the Golden State Warriors, and his former college teammate Antoine Jamison was selected by Toronto, and then the two clubs swapped the picks. Or Carter might be elevating out in the Bay Area.
I think most people expected both of those North Carolina players to be very good NBA players. I don't think anybody expected Vince Carter to be what he is at this young stage of his career.
Said Henderson set a crushing pick on Muggsy Bogues, who did not get any help from his teammates in yelling it out, and Brevin Knight dropped the jumper. Brevin with 9.
And the Cavaliers are within hailing distance, only down 11.
Carter against Cedric Henderson. Launches the triple. Bob Sura in a little bit of a hurry. Henderson to lift it, stroke it.
You can hear the rumbling crowd right now as the Raptors have been in this position many, many times, holding a lead and not able to hold on to it, although the Cavaliers have been there themselves.
So the lead is down to 9 at 94-85. 8-1 Cavaliers run. See if the Cavaliers have some clothes in them here in the Air Canada Center when we get back.
From a backyard hoop to their school gym, that's where 2 balls started for Zach and Kim. They pick their spots and make their shots in just 60 seconds. They can get red hot, get red hot. Their teamwork won from city to city. Passing and shooting had them sitting pretty. Zach and Kim might have started small, but to prove that anyone can win it all. NBA 2-ball, that's NBA 2-ball. Take the shot.
Showtime. Nobody brings teens the excitement of the NBA like TV's Inside Stuff.
Yeah, check that out, man.
Now NBA Inside Stuff magazine brings teens exclusive behind-the-scenes stories and original photos not available anywhere else. Call 1-800-NBA-STUFF or log on to NBA.com to order NBA Inside Stuff magazine. Follow all your favorite players with Inside Stuff, the NBA's official teen magazine. So call this toll-free number and say, I want the Inside Stuff.
There's a lot of reasons why so many people who take care of their cars turn to AutoZone each week. The low prices on the replacement parts they really need, and the large selection of the things they simply want. But most of all, they come to AutoZone because of the helpful, friendly people who work there. The kind of folks who know their stuff and who'll go the extra mile to help you out. Because after all, taking pride in taking care of people is what AutoZone is all about.
Long shots, favorites, a preview of the NHL playoffs tonight.
Cavaliers have gone on a run, an 8-1 run. They've cut their deficit down to 9 at 94-85. Let's switch over from the basketball to the baseball, shall we? Next time, Cleveland Indians roll for you here on Fox Sports Net Wednesday. Oakland A's will be the opponent. Now they can swing the bats. Ben Grieve, Jason Giambi, Eric Chavez will go after the Tribe. All the coverage, 3 o'clock Tribe time. Then the A's and the Indians at 3:30 with John Sanders and Rick Manning right here on Fox Sports Net. Vince Carter gave it up, but that's a 3-second violation on the Toronto Raptors. So the Cavaliers can come down and maybe cut this deficit to 7, Matt, on this trip.
Yeah, the crowd is very nervous, and also the Raptors look a little bit shaky right now. But what the Cavaliers, again, I think they got to get the ball into the hands of Sean Kemp.
Brevin Knight running that 2-man action with Cedric Henderson. I want Cedric over in isolation, and D. Brown reaching in and putting a hold on Sid.
I know that they're going to get that switch from the two I thought that was the ex-Charlotte players. No, D. Brown and Curry, whereas Cedric Henderson can work against the smaller D. Brown.
Henderson on the entry pass to Sean Kemp. Shot clock at 6. Sean will trigger and never got it to the rim. Not the kind of possession the Cavaliers were looking for to try to edge into the deficit. Sura playing McGrady, Henderson on Carter. Del Curry on the floor against his former teammate Danny Ferry. This is D. Brown to fill it.
D. Brown did just a good enough job with a quick dribble to escape the defense to get that good look.
Ferry out of a spot up. It rattled Cedric Henderson to keep it alive. Sean Kemp standing all by himself to bring it down with some purpose. Sean with 18, the lead back to 9 again as we're inside 6 minutes. All the 3 and make it 4 now. These two clubs have played against one another, Manny. Every one of them has been entertaining. Cedric Henderson on his 4th personal foul for impeding the drive of Vince Carter.
Everyone been entertaining, and the oddity of all being decided by 3 points. Vince Carter just dropping his head, as he will do. He knows that he can get in too close around the basket. He's going to draw contact. He did not have a particularly good game in late March against Cleveland, but did turn it on in the last about 2-3 minutes, getting very aggressive and taking the ball to the basket. And of course, it was the three-point shooting of the Raptors which did the Cavaliers in.
Carter too strong on the step-back jumper. Cavaliers could cut the lead down to 7. They'll do it as Seth Henderson goes to the hole.
Well, time and time again, we've seen the Raptors defense just fall apart inside. There's plenty to be had there, and they're playing small right now with Antonio Davis, the only big man, so to speak, although Carter and McGrady play big.
Cavalier basketball. McGrady went to the deck, slipping as Carter tried to enter. Don't forget, again, man, I mentioned him a few minutes ago, Toronto's lost 4 in a row here at home. Now, you saw them their last home game against the Indiana Pacers, and they got smoked.
And they got booed off the floor by their home fans, and then they I can't remember, the Detroit game, was that here or in Detroit? Also had a very poor performance.
How about the strength of Bob Sura? Took contact and threw it in the hole with the left hand. Antonio Davis just waltzed right to the hole to send it down.
Sean Kemp never made it to half court, and whether it's his back or his foot, but that's why Antonio Davis was left wide open in transition.
The Cavaliers are going to get a 20 as Sean Kemp comes by the huddle and is going to be attended to, at least walking around, as Gary Briggs watches. The Cavaliers have made a push with the bench group on the floor. They've outscored Toronto 18-8.
And the defense against McGrady and Carter much tougher the last couple of minutes right now. Cedric Henderson and Bob Sura doing a very good job against 2 tough customers. And of course you have to, because they are the lion's share of this Raptor offense.
So Sean Kemp will stay on the floor for the Cavaliers, down by 7 now. Vince Carter just 1 rebound and 1 assist away from what would be his first triple-double in the NBA. He's never had one. Sitting on 27 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists. Sean Kemp going to go upstairs and rock the rack as Brevin Knight delivered.
Brevin Knight has had a number of terrific passes on pick-and-roll types of plays. And that was terrific execution by Cleveland on the pick-and-roll.
The Toronto lead, which was 22, now down to 5. McGrady looking at Antonio Davis. Ferry came to help, and that's going to be a blocking foul on Danny Ferry.
Danny Ferry trying to help from the weak side, but first let's take a look on the pick and roll between Brevin Knight and Sean Kemp. Antonio Davis came out to show up on the pick and roll play, but he stayed real low and didn't get his hands up, which enabled Brevin Knight to just lob that ball up in Sean Kemp's direction.
Plenty of time left in this one, as we said. Every one of them between these 2 Central Division rivals, ultra entertaining. No different tonight. Antonio Davis will look to complete the pair now. Davis with 11 points, but just 3 boards tonight for the man that leads his ball club at 9 rebounds a game. Give him 12 and push Toronto's lead back up to 7. Brevin Knight found Bob Sura to the reverse. I think Davis got a piece.
He did. Good execution once again, but Davis smelled it out all the way. Pick and roll plays very effective for the Cavaliers, as the Raptors, for the most part, unable to defend, but Davis, the savior there for Toronto.
Carter wants it, fighting Cedric Henderson. D. Brown to trigger the triple. Rattled. Carter on the offensive glass with a putback that goes. Now there's the 11 rebounds now. He's only an assist away from the triple-double. The lead is ballooned to 9 again. The double on Sean Kemp. Sura to unload the tray. Brevin Knight ripped it away from Antonio Davis. Sura again for three. Bob Sura launching 2 long threes.
Didn't really need them there. Of course, they obviously help if they go in, and worse, Bobby got whipped on the offensive board play by Vince Carter, just too big and strong for Bob Sura.
D. Brown, face-up jumper that goes. Randy Whitman's got to get it stopped. It was down to 7, but now it is ballooned back to 11, the Toronto lead. D. Brown continues to really hurt the Cavaliers this year. He has averaged 15 a game against the Cavs and has 7 of his 13 in the fourth quarter. The Toronto lead is 11. Vince Carter, so workmanlike after his putback and emoting here at the Air Canada Center.
It's called Executive Caterers at Lander Haven because here, business executives can have it all. Whether it's a breakfast meeting in Michelle's, a business seminar in the ballroom, a trade show in the Lander room, or a business dinner in the cabaret room. Whatever your corporate needs, Executive Caterers at Lander Haven offers you an invitation to excellence.
Your company can have it all with Executive Caterers at Lander Haven.
These days, there are all sorts of cute little compact SUVs running around. And lots of monsters lumbering about. But Dodge Durango is different. Roomier than the little ones, more manageable than the huge ones. The just right sized Durango. Perfectly positioned between the toys and the tanks. Dodge Durango. Different.
Hi.
Oh, yeah, hi.
You seem a little slow there.
Well, I was stunned by your beauty. Buy you a Miller Lite, it tastes great.
Sure, but I like it because it's less filling.
Huh? Well, opposites attract. That's a good one. You want to go someplace in town?
Yeah.
Grab a Miller Lite. It's Miller time. Rookie.
Cavs basketball on Fox Sports Net. Been brought to you tonight by Southwest Airlines. Fares so low, you have the freedom to go places and do things you never thought possible. Fly Southwest. By AutoZone, the best part in auto parts. And also by Citibank. Michael Rega, Matt Gugas with you here in Toronto. Cavaliers had it down to 5. They've been stung by 6 consecutive points from the Raptors to lead at 11 again. Brevin Knight uses Sean Kemp pick. Kemp wants it in the low hole. Tracy McGrady again coming from the weak side. Got the basketball, but this time also clipped Sean Kemp. He'll go to the line. That's 4 on McGrady.
Just about every time the Cavaliers are able to get into any kind of pick and roll situation, they catch the Raptors in a slow rotation. And Sean Kemp walking out from that last timeout, limping noticeably as he's done something to his foot, but able to turn it on with a strong move inside and get to the foul line.
Sean with 21 tonight. Starter Andre Miller, who has sat the entire fourth quarter, now will check in to replace Danny Ferry. And Randy Whitman has opted to go with Cedric Henderson this whole fourth quarter instead of starter Lamont Murray, who has a 16.7 rebound performance going on tonight.
And now he's gone even smaller as the Raptors are small now. They could try to apply some, you would think they try to apply some pressure here, but Brevin Knight's going to wait at midcourt for D. Brown.
The lead is 9 for Toronto with the basketball. McGrady looking at Antonio Davis. Kemp has switched out on McGrady. Henderson trying to fight the bigger, stronger Davis. Davis in the post up. And one coming from the line. He delivered.
Well, the reason Cedric Henderson wound up with Antonio Davis, the Cavaliers went into a half-court trap and never really did get out of it. And somehow or other, Cedric Henderson winds up on the low block with Antonio Davis. Normally with those half-court traps, you look to trap once maybe, and then get the ball moving a little bit and start scrambling defensively. But they never really got a hard trap on the wing, and Tracy McGrady just able to find Davis inside.
Davis bricked his opportunity to finish off the three-point play. He didn't do it, so the lead stays at 11. 2:10 left. Cedric Henderson to the reverse. That's going to fall. Ced Henderson working inside.
Once again, Brevin Knight doing an excellent job of finding open people inside.
Less than 2 minutes to play in regulation time.
Inside 2, the Toronto lead still appears healthy at 9. Vince Carter to the hoop. Vince Carter, a sensational evening. Timeout Cavaliers. 31 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists for Vince Carter. Knock away. Cavaliers burning another timeout. Still down by 11 with 1:45 left when we bring you back on Fox Sports Net.
When it's time for excitement.
Fastball drilled to deep center field. This one is gone.
When it's time for fun.
5 hours from Toronto.
And we're wearing sunglasses. Get it. There's a time and a place for everything.
The time is before every Indians game.
The place, Fox Sports Net.
Prime Time brought to you by East of Chicago Pizza.
Aloha, baby. I'm gonna say aloha one more time so you can come on over here with that pizza. Hey, sure is good.
You're huge everywhere. Tim, it's him. Everybody just kind of looks at me and thinks I've got a screw loose or something.
Get away from me, get away from me. You are a sick human being. Pete, do you still gamble?
Sure, but not on sports.
You're a marquee player, but you have never won Jack.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that dislike you.
What? The Last Word. Weeknights at 6:30 and 11:30 on Fox Sports Net.
It is all good.
Fox Sports Net has teamed up with the Cavaliers to recognize and reward achievement in Cleveland area schools. Celebrating excellence in the classroom, it's an honor to announce the Fox Sports Net Cavaliers Students and Teachers of the Month. Andrew Jones from Martin Luther King Jr. Middle School. LaWanda Jackson from Mary B. Martin Middle School. Barry Lee from Nathan Hale Middle School. Jamie Lawrence from Patrick Henry Middle School. Team up with the Cavaliers and Fox Sports Net, partners in building pride in the community.
Toronto's lead is 11, Matty, as we look what they come to in the half court.
Well, every time Bob Sura has gotten switched on to Vince Carter, it has been a problem. Vince is too big and too strong for Bobby. He hurt him a couple of minutes ago in an offensive rebound situation and a stick back and hurt him once again there. And oddly enough, Bobby and Cedric Henderson are in there more for defensive purposes. Wes Person ineffective at both ends of the floor tonight. Lamont Murray was having a very good offensive game, but not seeing the light of day here in the fourth.
Sura going to go to the hoop. Bob Sura with a quick deliverance for the Cavaliers. Sura with 19 tonight. Sean Kemp pacing the Cavs with 22. McGrady handling. 90 seconds left in it. The Toronto lead is 9. Cavaliers must have a stop, and probably multiple stops. Carter, offensive foul. Bob Sura took a charge. Vince Carter lowered the shoulder.
Well, for the first time, Bob Sura has gotten the best of Carter. I said a switch before. Actually, the reason Cedric Henderson is on McGrady is because McGrady's even taller than Vince Carter, so he tried to get a little more size on him, but Sura's had his problems, no doubt, with Vince Carter.
We talked about multiple stops at the offensive end. Got to have success, too, at this end. Cedric Henderson took the no-look from Bob Sura and threw down. Henderson with 10 of his 11 in the fourth quarter. The lead is 7. Del Curry's got a catch and gun and ring it up.
Danny Ferry getting caught with the smaller Del Curry, just unable to recover on the quick escape dribble by Del Curry as the Cavaliers going out and pressuring and trapping, trying to scramble the defense a little bit.
Randy Whitman getting a timeout. The lead is 9 again. Exactly 60 seconds left to play. We'll tell you about a special night for Vince Carter when we get back. Toronto's lead is 9. Vince Carter, he has been a key factor all night long, obviously, for Toronto.
Well, his teammates and his coaches have asked him to do a little bit more. I don't know how much more he can do. You know he's always going to be able to score. He's strong around the board so he can rebound, but how about the 10 assists? That is finding your teammates.
Brother Knight had to give it up to Sean Kemp. Cedric Henderson to lift it and go glass and knock it down. 12-point fourth quarter for Ced Henderson. Cavalier foul on the hold on Bob Sura, but now Cavaliers are in the ultra scramble mold, still down by 7 with only 50 seconds left.
And Butch Carter wisely making one more move to get even a better foul shooter on the floor in Muggsy Bogues, and a guy that can come to the basketball very quickly and very low to the ground where you can't get with him. So once he gets it in his hands, the Toronto Raptors are going to feel very good that he's going to either handle the ball or get fouled and, of course, go to the line and make them.
Muggsy Bogues at that free throw spot. Some key ones, Matty, going on in the Eastern Conference tonight. Obviously, Orlando's had such success at home, getting dropped by Milwaukee here in the second quarter. And, of course, the Bucks, they've got to beat Orlando tonight to have any chance of staying alive for a playoff spot.
It's definitely a survival game for them, and the Magic need it as well. They've got one more with Milwaukee next week.
Brother Knight from the dotted line that did not fall into the hands of Cedric Henderson, who loads it up. Danny Ferry on the offensive glass got swatted by Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady with 4 blocked shots tonight, and some of them of a spectacular variety.
Well, he's amongst the league leaders. He does it very well coming off. This looked like it was about halfway down or a quarter of the way down for Cedric Henderson. And Danny Ferry, you just don't expect Tracy McGrady, despite his height and his length, to be such a quick shot blocker. Oh boy, that looked awfully to T. Brown's hand. So we got Muggsy Bogues, an excellent free throw shooter, going 1 for 2, and that was weird. He looked at that, he followed that right out of his hand.
D. Brown will connect on the second. Randy Whitman's going to burn another timeout. Cavaliers are just about to the end of the line as far as timeouts go in this one. They trail it by 9 at 112 to 103. 34 seconds left as the Cavs Brain Trust maps it out on Fox Sports Net.
A new team is coming. The NHL's Columbus Blue Jackets hit the ice this October. Stay on top of all that's going on by tuning into Blue Jackets Beat on Fox Sports Net. Hosts Jeff Hogan, Dave Miller, and special guests take an in-depth look at the building of Columbus's expansion team. Be ready when the puck drops. Don't miss Blue Jackets Beat.
Blue Jackets Beat, Friday at 7 p.m. Brought to you by Ohio Health, the official healthcare provider of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
You gotta have hope. You gotta have hope. Without hope, life is meaningless. Without hope, life is meaningless and less. You gotta have hope. You gotta have hope. You gotta have hope. You gotta have...
The home team is committed. Committed to getting into the playoffs. Committed to getting families into homes. Along with neighborhood revitalization efforts, the home team is breaking down the barriers to home ownership, sponsoring home buying fairs, and providing free information. The Cavaliers and the Fannie Mae Foundation, Cleveland's home team.
You see it by the number through just about 4 full quarters of basketball tonight as Cavaliers find themselves down by 9. That second quarter is really the difference when Toronto outscored the Cavaliers 29-19. Well, Matty, down by 9, 34.3. Is the quick 3 in order here?
I think you got to be really looking for the threes. You only have Danny Ferry and Bobby Sura, 2 3-point shooters out there.
Sura's going to attack the goal. Oh my goodness, didn't finish. He thought there was contact with Antonio Davis, and that should just about wrap it up. It's a 3-possession game. The Cavaliers are going to let it play out here. Toronto will hold and then give the basketball up with 2 seconds left in the game when the shot clock runs out. So the Raptors will end their 4-game losing streak here at home and have now won 3 in a row. So there's a 24-second violation with 2.6 left in it. Guess Antonio Davis felt like he just had to throw one from about 38 feet.
Well, he barely made it in the front court on that contact with Bob Sora. He took the worst of it.
Now Vince Carter quite fittingly with the step through, and that's it. Cavaliers fall to a triple-double from Vince Carter. So for Matt Gukas, I'm Michael Ruggie. I hope you enjoyed it tonight as Toronto beats the Cleveland Cavaliers. The final 112-103. Cavaliers fall to now 9-30 on the road. Cavaliers are the Charlotte Hornets next Tuesday, the final home game of the gun. Stay tuned. Fox Sports News is coming up next. Hope you enjoyed it, everybody. Till next Tuesday, so long.